Will lies and fake news be exposed by artificial intelligence? The truth and nothing but the truth. Imagine yourself 10 to 15 years from now, living in a world where every piece of information and testimony can be immediately and automatically checked for its correctness and truth. Signals are piling up from 4 directions. Experienced people can recognize a lie by facial expressions, gestures, tone of voice, and the blood flow pattern of the face. And AI can do it better today. Number 2, linguistic characteristics can also be recognized and analyzed by software so that lie statements, whether spoken or written, are becoming increasingly recognizable. Number 3, software can convert speech into text and, of course, read text. AI gets increasingly better at checking the content by comparing the statements with the entire knowledge stored on the internet. And number 4, when someone lies, certain brain regions are particularly active, which can be visualized with a functional MRI. And in the future, we will be able to use most of this unnoticed via our data glasses or data lenses that complement or even replace our mobile phones. So it's not so crazy to assume that sooner or later lies will be practically impossible unless we shield ourselves from all technology. What then also looks suspicious, so we are forced to be honest. There are many reasons to lie, also legitimate and honorable ones. Well, how did it taste? Yes, great, excellent. This is often a so-called social lie. Social lies serve not to burden relationships unnecessarily. They serve to make our friends and relatives feel comfortable with us and for us not to wither away in loneliness. But what if our host's smart home indicates that you have not responded honestly, based on your facial expressions, gestures, or the blood flow pattern on your face? It's hard to imagine how much we would argue and hurt fellow human beings if we always said what we really think. Not everything that is technologically possible today and tomorrow will be widely used. Yet technologies for detecting lies and fake news are already in the world, in labs and research facilities, as prototypes and niche applications. Despite all concerns, there are areas where those technologies could be very helpful. One such application is life support and coaching for mental disorders and illnesses. The MIT has introduced a system consisting of a wearable and an app. It can recognize the emotions of people during a conversation. Artificial emotional intelligence analyzes speech patterns and facial expressions of the other person with an accuracy of 83%. First, it is intended to support people who suffer from autism and social phobias, which makes it difficult to assess others correctly. How do we fight fake news and alternative facts? Some people call it the post-factual age that we live in. But incorrect information on the internet can be identified with methods for computer linguistic analysis. The assessment of the truthfulness of a statement is based on linguistic features as well as on comparison with statements stored in innumerable other places on the internet using big data analytics. With the so-called semantic web, the results become even more reliable. Information circulating in the network could thus be classified with a truth index that only gives probabilities but at least provides orientation. Algorithms still cannot safely distinguish between false and correct claims and assertions, but it is not a dream of the future anymore. Such a technology is developed, for example, in the European Union research project THEME. And numerous research teams around the world are currently facing the challenge of developing a working solution in the fake news challenge. Imagine, every time a politician or business leader gives a speech or makes a statement in a talk show, a colored window shows how true each statement is. The post-factual age could come to an end, hardly that it has begun. But it's not that easy after all. Who runs the software? Can we trust the internet companies and governments. It is not only the paranoid people that fear censorship and manipulation here. Is perfect crime detection around the corner? Classical lie detectors, the polygraphs, they measure physiopsychological parameters such as blood pressure, heart rate, respiration, and the electrical conductivity of the skin. But humans are not machines, and they react quite differently in stressful situations, so that it cannot be ruled out that the polygraph will indicate a lie even if the person tells the truth. In addition, the results must be interpreted by the operator of the polygraph. As experienced as he or she is, interpretations are always fallible. Therefore, the polygraph is not allowed as an aid in crime investigation in most countries. Will technological advances change that? Researchers at the University of Michigan have developed a software that succeeds in exposing liars in 75% of cases. In a first step, video recordings of statements in court were evaluated. Real cases, not under lab conditions. The system was then trained to look for abnormalities in tone of voice, facial expressions, gestures that are significantly more frequent with a lying person. 75% are not 100%. However, with a rate of 50%, humans do significantly worse in comparison. There is a Canadian startup called Neurologics. They're using image processing software called transdermal optical imaging to analyze the blood flow pattern in people's faces in order to make hidden emotions visible. This too can be completely hidden from the test person. You cannot hide what goes even deeper. In recent years, lie detection using functional magnetic resonance imaging, the fMRI, has grown considerably. Neuroscientists track down the lie where it originates, in the brain. For more than a decade, such methods and services have been offered by companies such as California's No-Lie MRI. They advertise with a statement, "The first and only direct measure of truth verification and lie detection in human history." When a person is lying, certain brain regions are more active, and the scan makes that visible. Has a suspect ever been at a crime scene before? There has been software for years that can detect this with 90% probability. Neurophysicist John Dylan Haynes from the Bernstein Center of Computational Neuroscience in Berlin was able to use a software to interpret brain activity to determine whether a test person has previously seen a shown room. It's called crime scene recognition. Well, no judicial judgment shall be made based on such technologies, but they could at least be used to hint at the truth. Studies suggest that the MRI, the brain scan method, is more successful than the polygraph. But ultimately, there is the same uncertainty as with a classical lie detector. Under what mental and emotional pressure is the subject? To what extent can test results with many people under lab conditions, which are in a sense fake situations, be applied to real conditions? What if the liar himself believes what he says to be true? What if the system lies because it has been manipulated? What and who interprets the results? And how does the interpreter feel today? All this nourishes hopes and doubts at the same time. Lie or truth? Fake or real news? New methods of neurological and biochemical measurement of humans and their statements will provide more and more data on these questions in the future. And artificial intelligence is proven to outperform the average human when it comes to detecting lies and fake news. At the same time, it also means a world where personal rights are drastically violated by today's standards. We have to get to grips with that first, or try to ban the whole magic. Experience has shown, however, that this is little chance of success. And now what? Despite ethical concerns and legal hurdles, it is very likely that truth technologies will find wide application and that a truth industry will emerge. It is a market of the future. Probably the truth engineer and the trust engineer is a profession of the future. Trust technologies and trust solutions already today are a burning need. Last but not least, the hype surrounding blockchains is a clear signal for this. What can you do in your business and your work? Where can you promote and secure truth today and thereby promote the priceless factor of trust? The massive increase of reviews has punished many fraudulent products and businesses over the last 20 years or even wiped them off the market. What we are thinking here today is in principle just a continuation of that development. And it's not just about trust in people. We also have to think about the other direction. If artificial intelligence someday actually develops something like consciousness, it would be able to gain advantage over us through deception, falsehoods, and misinformation. After all, humans recently lost their chance to win in poker against artificial intelligence. It bluffs even better than the human masters in poker. As a result, I believe that we will create a more honest, truthful, and trustworthy world. It is really necessary, as recent developments have shown. And when the time comes, please turn off the Truth app in your smart home when you ask your guests how they like the meal you served.